It's the Flow Friday Night Sports Show, and Western Eyre Netball continues on. We've had a change at the top of the ladder, which will please our next guest immensely, I would imagine. Joining me on the line is Reanna Freeman. Welcome back. How are you?
Yeah, very well. I quite like that introduction, to be honest.
Well, we have had a change at the top of the ladder, and that was because we had the top of the ladder clash last week between Wirrallah and the West Coast Hawks, the old Midwest Cup, if you will, between these two. And Wirrallah were top of the pops, West Coast Hawks just the 1 point behind on the ladder. Well, you've swapped positions now after giving them a fair old touch-up, 59-37. What happened?
We come out firing, I think, which is something that Wirrallah probably haven't seen this year, so it might have caught them unawares. I think we were 7 up at quarter time. Our goalies were playing fantastic. Our defenders, Alana Beard and Tegan Joyce, were outstanding in defence. So I don't think Wirrallah were quite expecting it, but the difference from this side to the last side we played is, of course, Hayley Webb. She went down in the last one, and so I think she was a massive out. Wirrallah didn't have Jazz Billing running through the centre, so that is definitely a massive out for Wirrallah, but not to take away from the Hawks girls who played an absolutely outstanding game. First half was definitely Hawks dominated, and then Wirrallah made a couple of changes, and when I say changes, they put their absolute gun Emma Willis, who's a fantastic goal shooter, who is also a fantastic goalkeeper, so they swapped her from shooter to keeper, and that actually turned the game into a very defensive game on both ends. So they missed her in their goals, but obviously gained her in their defence, and that made a massive difference for the last half, but Hawks still winning all 4 quarters and really happy with a 22-goal win, 59-37.
Absolutely, as you should be. Be a slightly different situation perhaps when the Bombers are at full strength, but you can only beat what's there for you to beat. And the girls from the West Coast Hawks have obviously done that beautifully. So congratulations, Coach. Well done.
Thank you. I'll take that one.
Yep. Not too many close matches in the A grade, at least. Well, not any to report on from the weekend. Western United taking on Ceduna Blues. I thought this would be a closer margin than this. It didn't turn out that way, with Western United going down 35-55. So a great win for the Blues.
Yeah, so a 20-goal win is really good, and I think I spoke last week about Blues playing really good netball at the moment, and I think Westies is probably missing a couple of key players is the difference, but 35 goals for Westies just, I think, without even seeing the game, just proves it was probably quite a good game. So 35, still a decent amount of goals scored in an A-grade match. So I think although Westies will be disappointed with that loss, Blues will be pretty happy with that 20-goal win to finish the second round.
Indeed. And Thevenard of recent times have just reminded everyone why they were so successful as a netball club in the old Far West competition before the rebadging. They will be there and thereabouts finals time again with a thumping win over Canibus 69-16. So unfortunately, Canibus' revival in terms of score from last week didn't continue this week.
No, it certainly didn't. And I think we did touch on last week about Sevi maybe just quietly sitting in the wings waiting for their opportunity, and I think this just proves that they're a team who every time we've played have had a different lineup, and I think all year they've sort of changed things around quite a bit. I think going into this last round that'll settle quite a bit and they will find their groove, and I think if anyone's quietly achieving, well, 53 goals most definitely isn't quite, but I think Sevi will be a force to be reckoned with.
Spot on. And if we have a look at the A-grade ladder now, given that we've got a couple of weeks off in terms of club matches, we have played 10, so 5 matches to go. Everyone's played everyone twice. One more round of that to go. The West Coast Hawks on top now, 9 wins, 1 loss on 18 points, with Wirrallah snapping at your heels on 17 points, 8 wins, a draw and a loss. So the two teams from Midwest coming in and topping the ladder at the moment, but that team, Thevenard, you just mentioned, 6 wins, a draw, and just the 3 losses on 13 points. So they're still within striking distance, aren't they?
They most definitely are, and I think every time they've come up against Hawks and Wirrallah, they haven't lost by a lot. I mean, they've obviously had that draw with Wirrallah, and I think although they're a third on the ladder, I think they're most definitely with the top.
Yep, absolutely. Ceduna Blues round out the 4. They're 4 wins, 6 losses. That's why that game against Western United on the weekend was so important. It clears them out now. 2 games and a massive chunk of percentage clear of Westies, who are 2 wins and 8 losses. Canibba obviously yet to break their duck. So I think the top 4 is set and almost maybe in position, but there could be some changes in position. I mean, it's going to take a lot for Westies to make up 2 games and a big chunk of percentage with just 5 games to go, right?
Absolutely, and I think those top 4, although those positions look pretty solid at the moment, I think come finals time with a completely different netball game, I wouldn't be counting anyone out. I think it matters where you end on the ladder come-in finals. It really is anyone's game. So now's the time to strengthen your teams and do the work that needs to be done heading into finals, which is really only 5 games away.
Spot on. All right, let's talk about what's happening this weekend. No club matches, of course, but I believe you're heading down to Cleve for the Peddler Cup. You'll have a couple of teams heading down for that, will you?
We certainly do. So we come away from Country Carnival, which we had a few weeks ago. This was the grand final winning team, which is Team 1. There is a couple of changes. As Country Champs, we take 10, and Peddler Cup, we take 9. And Far West previously have retrialled these girls, which is something we weren't used to. And I actually think it worked out really well because their beliefs behind it were it gives the girls a bit of time during the season to improve, and then they get the opportunity to retrial. And I think the teams are the proof there because some of the teams have changed around a little bit. But this Team 1 looks fantastic. Kate Richards took these girls to Adelaide and gave them the grand final win. And only a few changes, but you've got Chloe Evans, who's captain still, and she plays both ends and is playing fantastic netball this year. And Poppy Fawcett is her vice-captain. She plays for Sevi, and she's a fantastic goalie and also a mid-quarter. So this Team 1 is looking fantastic. Ruby Launer and Mia Shippard in defence. Melina Coombs plays both goals and defence. And Melina, look, if I can mention anyone, it would have to be her. Her at Country Champs was outstanding. She shot from absolutely anywhere and is a fantastic little goalie. So I think this Team 1 should do really well under Kate Richards as their coach. Excellent.
So that's the first team. What about the second team?
Yeah, another really good-looking team. So Ellie O'Brien is going to take on this team down to Cleve. We've got Katie. She was in Team 1, but just due to numbers, she's in Team 2 and a fantastic. Now, Katie is only short, so people very much underestimate Katie, but gee, she's got a beautiful pass on her and drives really well through the centre. Indy is from Sevi and another beautiful mid-quarter, and you've got Abby Watson coming in from Wirrallah. She's a beautiful defender, and also Shelby Murphy is from Sevi and quite a tall player, solid player, and reads the ball really well, and she's in defence. So I think it'll be really interesting to see how these 2 teams go in Peddler Cup, but I wish them all the best, and I think we've got some great talent in our juniors, so I would be expecting some good results.
Look forward to catching up with you next week to find out how the girls went. Enjoy your trip to Cleve, Reanna, and we'll catch up with you again next week.
No worries. Thanks for having me.